I've got the perfect candidate that will trade for Giannis this offseason that nobody is talking about because the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis are scheduled to have a meeting where they will discuss the future of their, plans for the team. Now, this is going to be a perfect opportunity for Giannis to be, you know what? I feel like the team having me around is going to keep him in no man's land considering how much the roster lacks competitiveness aside from himself. Because Damian Lillard is going to be out for a significant amount of time. Bobby Portis may be on the way out. And then you've got Kyle Kuzma, Mr. New Tony Snell, Brook Lopez. He used to be great in his time. You don't really have enough pieces to surround Giannis. Yes, you'll make the playoffs with Giannis. You might have home court again, but you'll get bounced out because it's Giannis and Gary Trent Jr. stepping up against the world. Now, a team that's going to be very likely to be making some trades, according to Shams, is the Celtics. Now, with how Adam Silver has the league cap set up, the Celtics are going to have to be trading some pieces. And the last team to take advantage of the cap situation was the Warriors, and now they've changed it to the point where teams can't really be a dynasty. Now, the Celtics are expected to make some really huge moves, and considering Jason Tatum just got paid so he can't really get traded, there's going to be this trade. Now, this is perfect. Now, on this trade simulator, there are no draft picks before you say, the Bucks should be getting some draft picks or whatnot. So I think a couple draft picks would be on the way to the Bucks, maybe a couple players incorporated, but this would be the ground level of this trade. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo would be getting traded for final MVP Jaylen Brown and Sixth Man of the Year Peyton Pritchard. I genuinely believe this would be a good return for the Bucks because you can build around Jaylen Brown after you got him on the team. Peyton Pritchard finally gets a starting role. He gets to be the point guard of the team. And if you don't want Peyton Pritchard, I feel like you go for Derek White. Either or, it kind of fits the same. Now, that's a great return to me, considering the Bucks are gonna be shopping him around. I feel like the Thunder aren't really gonna be keen on giving up Chet Holmgren or J Dub. Houston might be very hesitant of giving up Sengun or Jalen Green or Thompson. The Pistons, obviously, a lot of these teams are hesitant on giving up big pieces, and it's gonna be very hard to be able to acquire these young stars. So for the Bucks, if you could come out and get Jaylen Brown, who to many is the better player between him and Jason Tatum, and Giannis goes to the Celtics, you replace Jaylen Brown for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I believe that's a win-win for everyone because the Bucks don't end up in as bad as they would be if they give up Giannis for all that young talent. They don't own their draft picks, so they don't really benefit from being terrible. So you end up being some sort of competitive with Jaylen Brown. So then you're gonna have to play your pieces right on being able to turn that roster around to be somewhat competitive and hope those draft picks you acquire end up kind of acquiring great talent. Peyton Pritchard or Derek White, or if it's both, are going to have decent years with the Bucks. You still got Kyle Kuzma can develop. You still got Brook Lopez. It's not absolutely as bad as it would be if you traded Giannis for a bunch of young pieces and draft picks. Now, the only other trade I could think of that's realistic that could be significantly worth Giannis would be the number one overall pick, so you can go and get yourself a Cooper Flag and build off him. That's the only other trade that I would take over this. But Jaylen Brown, I feel like, is a player you can't turn down if you're going to be trading for Giannis. And I believe Giannis, if you're going to be trading him for Jaylen Brown, is probably the best package you could get to be able to compete now. So it's a win-win for everyone. And I need to see more people talk about this package, considering the Celtics are going to shake up the roster. Why wouldn't they want Giannis? That's an upgrade, honestly. The lineups would look like, let's see, it would be Drew Holiday with either Peyton Pritchard or Derek White, whoever doesn't get traded. Jason Tatum, Giannis, Porzingis. That's what the lineup would look like. For the Bucks, you would have Gary Trent Jr. or Derek White or Pritchard, whoever gets traded. Jaylen Brown at the small forward, Kyle Kuzma, and possibly Brook Lopez or Bobby Portis. It's just better. It's a good all-around win-win situation. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you think this trade is good, and if not, let me know some trades that you think would be worth it for the Bucks or Celtics in this scenario. But anyways, thank you guys for watching.